Before we get started on sashi seso, za, ji, zu, ze, zo in katakana, I just want to give you a couple of sight katakana that are going to be really helpful. There are a lot of English words that have L's and R's in them, and they get transferred over into katakana using the rari, rure, ro, ro of katakana. So I'm going to give you today ra and ri. You don't have to know how to write these, but knowing how to read them is going to be really helpful very quickly. So, ra looks like this, and ri looks like this. Ri, you shouldn't have any problem with at all. Ra, careful that you don't mistake it for an u. This is katakana u, hiragana u. It does look a bit like hiragana u, but it's not. It's katakana ra. Alright, so that being the case, let's go on to sa, shi, su, se, so. Here's sa, horizontal, left short vertical, right curving vertical, sa. People often say, well, that looks like se, like a backwards version of se, but don't worry, because katakana se actually looks even more like se than hiragana se, than katakana sa does. So this is sa. Let's write it and say it. Sa, 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 sa. Next. She is pretty difficult, so I want to take a little bit of time on this. 1, 2, 3. So the two strokes, they are downward facing, almost horizontal. And then a stroke up from the bottom. She. 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 Why is this tricky? It's tricky because this is tsu. It's a very subtle difference, but it's there. She. Horizontalish, horizontalish, up from the bottom. Tsu. Sideways verticalish, verticalish, down from the top. It's clearer if you have like a bolded or like a Gothic kind of font, because you'll be able to see that she is thicker at the bottom and tsu is thicker at the top. But when you're not bolded, the most important thing with your handwriting is that those two horizontals are very close to horizontal and up from the bottom, down from the top. That's tsu. We'll talk more about tsu in the next lesson. From now, just focus on making sure that your she is horizontal, horizontal, down and up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's she. Su looks like this. Don't have much to say about this one. I think that most people get this one pretty easily for some reason. Su, 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 su. Next. Se. Boom. Se. Remember how I said that it actually looks more like hiragana se? So there's hiragana se. It's much more closely related than katakana sa is. Se, 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 se. So. So is another one that you want to be careful of. More like vertical. It's a diagonal, but it's sort of like a true diagonal, you know, sort of like a 45. And down from the top. This is n. So we want to be really careful with our so. It's not straight vertical because then you've got ri. So this is so. Again, differentiating it from n takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. But when you have it sort of bolded or written in certain fonts, n looks like this, and so looks like this. So the thicker part and thinner parts are like exactly opposite to one another. So we have sa, she, su, se, and so. Sa, shi, su, se, so. And of course, just like hiragana, you can do this. Za, ji, zu. Like trying to decide where my dots would go best. I think they go best up there. Za, ji, zu, ze, and zo. Couple of blends. Here's she, like the first sound in the name Shakespeare. 1, 2, 3. E. She plus e makes she. Like the first sound in Shakespeare. Shakespeare. And je is the exact same thing, but with dots. Shi, ji, e. There's je. So, sa, shi, su, se, so, za, ji, zu, ze, zo, she, and je. And that's all for this lesson.